And welcome back to Everlasting Summer. Let's just jump into it. Said Alyssa quietly, and the room became illuminated by the dim flicker of a lighter's flame. Where did that come from?
Statue.
She forced a gentle smile and handed me the lighter. All right. I quickly swept my eyes over the room, searching for something that could be used as a torch. There were some tattered rags and a rod among the debris on the floor. One of the bottles contained some liquid that smelled like industrial alcohol. For better or for worse, in a minute, I was holding something that resembled a flaming torch in my hands. I don't know how long it will last, so we got to move quickly.
Where to?
Alyssa seemed to be returning to her senses. Let's go back. At least we'll reach the bomb shelter. For one thing, there's light there. She gave me a quiet nod and took my hand. How do you nod loudly? The torch was burning poorly. We had to reignite it every other minute. One didn't have to be an oracle to predict an extremely short lifespan for that rag we were using. I became more and more afraid that we wouldn't leave the darkness in the mine. You couldn't rely too much on just the lighter. However, we reached the hole that led up to the catacombs quite fast. It seems that I memorized the route after all. We struggled to get up, scrambling over the rocks almost blindly.
Okay, where are we going now?
Asked Alyssa, getting her breath back. What do you mean? We're going to that room with the bunks and cabinets.
Which way is that?
I opened my mouth to reply, but suddenly realized that I had not the slightest idea. The hole looked the same from all sides, just like the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. We had not a single hint to indicate the right direction. Well,
Don't you know?
Alyssa asked sadly and sat on the ground. No. I replied quietly, put out the torch to preserve it, and sat next to her.
Are we going to die here?
She rested her head upon my shoulder. His voice sounded flat, one might even say calm, but I could feel that her body was trembling, either with cold or with fear or with both combined. Don't be silly. Sure, things are getting worse, but they're still pretty far from we're gonna die. They will come and rescue us in the morning. Olga Dmitrievna will call the police, so I would love to believe myself.
I see.
Yeah. I lost track of time sitting there. I was afraid to go forward or backward. I was afraid to make a choice, as our torch definitely wouldn't last both ways. Wandering in total darkness without any source of light was definitely worse than waiting for the rescue here. This way at least we would have some light left for an emergency. Suddenly a rumbling started echoing in the distance. Well, here's that emergency. That was definitely the clank of door bolts mixed in that rumbling. Get up. I harshly pulled Alyssa to her feet and lit the torch with shaking hands.
Where is it?
She asked in dismay. I don't know, but it seems there's someone. We have to run. To be honest, I wasn't sure that it was such a good idea. What if the mad shirk is there? And in fact, that's the least of all the evils I can imagine. But we had no choice left. The stones scattered beneath our feet. I desperately tried not to fall down, holding my hand with the torch out in front and dragging Alyssa with the other. She ran along in silence, breathing heavily. I really wanted to look back at her, but didn't have the strength or time. Finally, the outline of the open door appeared before us, and I leaped into the bomb shelter, readying myself to fight a new foe that was there. But the room was empty. I swept my eyes across the room, trying hard to spot hidden monsters, shark, or any other evil entity, but it was all exactly the same as it was the first time we'd been here. Except for the door, the second door. It was open. Somebody has passed through here, I spoke up triumphantly.
Who?
I don't know, maybe it was Shirk.
But how did he manage to open it?
Who the hell cares? Come on. There was another corridor behind that door, and it was ascending slowly. So we're getting closer to the surface. I was right. After several hundred of feet, I stumbled upon a ladder leading to a small latch on the ceiling. It didn't take much effort to open it.
What's up there?
Who cares? It's better than staying down here anyway. I climbed the ladder and found myself surrounded by gloom. However, this gloom was definitely lighter than the catacombs. As my eyes got more used to it, the outlines of the walls, the ladder, and the door leading to the outside were emerging in the pale moonlight. I helped Alyssa to climb up, and we literally sprang out of the building. The exit from the catacombs was located in some sort of ruined building that resembled either a nursery or a country school.
It must be the old camp.
Alyssa sat on one of the swings and wiped the sweat from her forehead with the back of her hand. I see, so we found it after all. I smiled involuntarily.
What are you laughing at?
She frowned and pouted with displeasure. To put it shortly, she'd returned to her usual self. So it's not scary here anymore?
I wasn't scared there either.
Oh, come on.
That's right, I wasn't.
Oh, whatever. I was angry. I really felt hurt because of Alyssa. Not for me, she would have still been down there in that damn mine.
Where are you going?
She asked in a less self-assured voice as I turned around and walked slowly towards the camp. Back to the camp.
Hey!
Alyssa jumped up right away and started to walk next to me. For a moment, I wanted to say something nasty, but I wasn't ready to start the next argument. We found the path we had taken before surprisingly fast, even the 2 holes we'd fallen into. It was only about 200 meters from the old camp. Yay! I stopped at the square and turned to Alyssa. Well?
Well?
She looked uncertain, even confused. Then,
Sure.
deep inside I wanted to yell at her, to scold her, even to insult her. On the other hand, I wanted to have a meaningful conversation. In the end, I just kept silent, turned around, and slowly headed towards the leader's cabin. But something persistently disturbed the quiet of the night. I keenly listened to it and realized that it was the snoring of Shurk, who was sleeping peacefully on a bench. Hey! I called Alyssa, who hadn't walked too far away. Get up, you! Shurk slowly came to his senses and stared at us blankly. Oh, is it morning already? Morning? Yeah, sure. Sometimes one acts first, thinks later. Of course, it all starts in the brain, then the current comes through the neural links, thereby transmitting the command to the body. But sometimes the subconsciousness just works faster than the consciousness. That's exactly why my fist swung and smacked Shurk in the guts, and it was only then that I realized what I'd done. He coughed, trying to catch his breath, and writhed in pain on the bench. What the hell was all that about? I already felt bad about him. I shouldn't have treated him so rough. What are you talking about? Shurk looked back at me in shock. In the mine! What mine? He turned his head, completely confused. And why am I here? And why are you here?
Stop fooling around.
Alyssa barged into the conversation.
You nearly killed me there, and now you're going to pretend like nothing happened?
What happened? You really don't remember? Not a thing. Okay, so what is the last thing you do remember? Shurk tried to concentrate. Well, I was on my way to the old camp in the morning. I knew I could find some hardware for the robot there, so... And that's all. I don't recall anything since then. Then I just woke up here. I let out a heavy sigh as I turned away. Well, go ahead. Sweet dreams.
Hey, where are you?
I ignored Alyssa and stumbled away to the Olga Dmitrievna's cabinet. She stayed arguing with Shurk. I sat in the deck chair and looked up at the stars. Can I skip this part? Nope. This night they seemed to be brighter than usual. Perhaps they seemed so because not too long ago my only source of light was a dim flashlight and then that torch. The stars are brighter than a flashlight and obviously this torch. Most of the stars, I guess, are even brighter than the sun, but they're so far away. So, why have you come? I asked without even turning my head. Alyssa's footsteps could be heard well in advance in the sounds of the night.
Well,
What did Shurk say?
He said that he doesn't remember anything, that it's unscientific and nonsense like that.
I think he really doesn't remember because of shock and stress. Who am I to say? I was in the same boat not too long ago. I am still in it, though. Do I have amnesia? Well then, why did you come here? Then again, I guess I knew the answer. That's exactly why I hadn't gone to sleep, but waited for her here.
Well, I
Elsa sat down next to me.
kind of wanted to thank you, after all, down there, that you...
No problem, I said gently and leaned back.
Well, alright then.
She got up and was going to go. If you think that I'm angry with you, I'm not. Everything is okay.
I didn't actually think that.
Alyssa got worked up. Fine then.
Okay,
Yeah.
then
Just go already, I said kindly and waved my hand.
I'll go when I want to.
So now you don't want to?
I want to.
Well, is something preventing you from going?
Moron! Black.
Alyssa stamped her foot and quickly walked away from the leader's cabin. I took a deep breath and stood up. My head was terribly dizzy from fatigue. Well, at least Olga Dmitrievna is sleeping already and I won't have to explain anything. However, it wasn't that easy. The camp leader was standing in the middle of the room and was obviously preparing for a lengthy conversation, or rather for a debriefing. Would you care to explain? What's the matter? In fact, you didn't mind when we were going to search for Shurik? And what, have you found him? It looks like she was more concerned about me coming back late than the fate of that lost pioneer. Yes, we have. By the way, why are you standing here in the darkness? What? I said, why in the darkness? Because it's time to sleep. I couldn't argue with her more, although I couldn't agree with her more, although I was slightly surprised by such an abrupt mood swing. I just barely stumbled to my bed and collapsed on it without undressing. But still, Alyssa. I just didn't know what I should think of her. It wasn't because she'd been acting strange recently. She always acts strange, though. She's a fucking tsundere. No, on the contrary, all of her behavior was quite consistent and understandable. Even her returning to thank me. I thought of Alyssa much more than anything else that had happened tonight. So if you get down to it, there was nothing supernatural about it. Uncomfortable, sure. Frightening, even spine-chilling, sure. Something related to my arrival here, hardly. These thoughts put me to sleep. Okay. You sleep. Oh, I froze. I froze. Day 5. Nice. Yep. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna end this episode here. Yeah, I'm gonna end this episode here. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this episode of Everlasting Summer, would like to see more of it, then leave a like down below, leave a comment down below, share it with your friends, subscribe if you haven't, ring that notification bell, remember, die safely. Bye bye.